Here are the top 4 things I do to save money. Number 1, the hot dogs at the gas station are free if they've been rotating for a few days. Just make sure not to eat the ones with veins in them. Also, any drink you get a free cheese and chili on the nachos. God bless America. Number 2, I bought a Fisker Ocean for 10 grand. Eventually, it's going to stop working, but that's okay because it was cheap. Number 3, I hurt my back a long time ago, and instead of going to a chiropractor, which is a scam, I go to an unlicensed massage therapist. They're cheaper, and I feel much better after leaving. Number 4, we'll get into later. Now, I do this all in the name to save money because if there's one thing I love, it's not spending money. But this might take the cake. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here in Detroit, yes, the Motor City, the place that built America's love affair with cars, to see if an American-made electric pickup truck that costs less than the sales tax on a Rivian is actually any good. Here's the thing. Everyone's always complaining about the death of American manufacturing, how we don't build anything here anymore, and how we outsource everything from socks to the soul of the country. But this little truck was actually designed and built right here by people who still believe it's possible to make affordable and practical EVs in America. Now, full disclosure, I didn't pay to come here, so here's my number 4. The way I save money is Slate offered me a hotel with a free continental breakfast, so I said, yes, sure, I will come check out your little truck. Boom, free breakfast. Let's find out if the Slate pickup truck can actually deliver on its promise, or if I just flew to Detroit to visit my second family. But first, let's do some research on them.
Hey, what are you doing?
Dude, I'm looking at this Slate truck, right? So it's this new pickup truck. It's super minimalistic. There's no paint. There's no radio. It has crank windows, and it's 28 grand. But I'm trying to figure this out. Some people are saying it's a future. Others are saying it's a joke. I don't know.
I want to check this thing out.
Yeah, come see it, man. So it's the same truck, but different coverage depending on where you're reading. So I actually pulled it up on Ground News, and suddenly I could see just how each outlet was framing the story. Some lean left, some lean right, others focused on the price, others on politics. Same facts, just different spins. Oh, and one more cool feature I didn't even mention, the blind spot feed. It shows you stories that are getting way more coverage from one side of the political spectrum than the other, and it's a great way to spot what you might be missing if you usually stick to the same kind of news sources. Ground News lets you see how many outlets are covering a story, where they lean politically, and even who owns them. It's clean, it's ad-free, and it's super easy to use. I started using it just to fact-check stuff for videos, but now I use it all the time. It saves me from having to screenshot 5 tabs to actually figure out what's going on. Everything's so sensational online, it's honestly refreshing to get a full picture without the noise, and yeah, even if I don't agree with every side, I still see all the sides, which is super important. If you want to try it out, hit up this link, ground.news/rebuilds. You get 40% off the Vantage plan, or click on this QR link right here. So it's a green light. Now, we didn't get off to a great start because they put us in the back of the plane with the chickens, but that's okay. I went to the event and I wore my Rivian shirt just to establish dominance. And the first person I met was...
Jordan.
Jordan?
Yep.
Very nice to meet you, my friend. Jordan, what do you do at Slate?
I work on all of the exterior accessories. So I kind of get a great blend of all the product management, all the customer-focused stuff, but also all the deliverables of that.
So you said interior, just exterior or interior and exterior?
Exterior mostly,
yeah.
But I can speak to all of it.
Really? Okay, awesome. So there was this movie, and we know what movie this is. You have to have your flair.
We need to talk about your flair.
Like, all these
your
things that
pieces of
stick around,
flair.
pieces of flair.
Yeah.
What movie was that? Jennifer Aniston?
I don't remember the title.
Office Space.
Office Space.
Office Space.
You got it.
So the second that I saw these, I thought immediately of all the flair that you could have. I'm looking at this screen right here.
Sure.
Audio, maps, phone, and energy. What is this tablet? Did someone bring their own tablet? Is that like an iPad or something like that?
Yeah.
Or one of those Amazon. What are the cheap Amazon ones?
Fire tablets?
The Fire tablets. Either like for those underprivileged families that can't afford iPads. Not judging. You usually get the Fire tablet. Anyways, back to this. What is that?
So this is in our bring your own device mount.
Okay.
So part of the nature of the Slate ecosystem is use what you have. So for example, I had an iPhone 11 for a long time. I just got an iPhone 15.
Good for you.
And the technology that I've gained is astronomical.
It's a jump, yeah.
And same with car infotainment, right? I've had the same car for 5 years, and my infotainment hasn't upgraded.
What kind of car do you drive? I should ask everyone that. What kind of car do you drive?
So I have a Mercedes Sprinter van, and
Nice.
I just sold.
Is it one of those Overlanders? Are you an Overlander guy? You live in it.
I do live in it.
Of
I
course he
do
does.
live in it.
Of course he lives in it.
But yeah, this is our bring your own device mount. So
Okay.
let's say you have an iPhone or an Android, whatever you want. It's not locked like some vehicles have them locked. You know, you can't
Right.
CarPlay or these things. But our Slate app has these things native to it. So you plug it in, and it'll all kind of talk back and forth with whatever device you plug
That's
into
a
it.
smart idea. I was wondering how it got to this point. You know what I mean? How do you, if you want to interface with the car a little bit deeper, I was wondering if you have to bring your own device,
Yeah,
how
the
do you
Slate
do that?
app.
But there's an app on your phone. Oh, that's genius.
Yeah.
Really good idea. Was that your idea?
It was not my-
It was your
yeah,
idea.
it was my idea,
Very
for
good
sure.
idea. I like that.
And it'll help you find charging stations. Like you can plan your route, and it'll say, oh, you need to charge here for this long and charge
Right.
here for this long, and it'll do all that sort of stuff, as well as give you control for your audio system, if you accessorize that way, and all that sort of stuff.
Here's the thing, like I drop my phone a lot, and I always break it. What if I have a phone with a cracked screen in there? Like, am I just
It'll be
SOL?
fine. No.
Am I gonna be okay?
Fine.
Still drive it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You
So-
don't need anything. You just get in.
You just jump.
and go.
You need a key
Yeah.
though.
You need the key.
You need a key.
Yeah.
All right, key's important.
Key is important.
So you're the accessory person. What are your top 5 accessories for
Okay.
the Slate? What are you most excited about? Like when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I can't wait to work on that accessory again.
Yeah.
What are those things?
Well, that's every day for me. I
Of
live,
course it
eat,
is.
and breathe accessories.
You also live in a van.
I do live in a van, and it is very accessorized. And every vehicle I've ever owned has been accessorized to the gills.
That's cool.
But what I like, if we step this way a little bit,
Yeah,
is
sure.
how the Slate kind of lends itself for anything you want to do.
Right.
So honestly, I kind of get jazzed up when I pull into a parking lot and I see 2 identical cars that are accessorized totally differently.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that guy's a surfer, or that lady's going mountain biking, or they just got back from a flower store.
Yeah.
And just how they've outfitted their vehicles totally differently is really cool. So Slate offers that. And the thing that I like the most about it is what we're calling our rack ecosystem. So in the accessory space, adding things to your roof is super important. So we've developed this ecosystem that has common crossbars that go on the truck, on your ladder racks, on your
like
SUV.
a common rail system.
Yep.
I see. Okay.
So everything's common, and this rail is common with this extrusion. And when you move from truck to SUV, this rear hoop here just ends up moving backwards to here. So everything is super modular, and all of these parts have been designed to work with all of the things you already have. So
Right.
you already have a bike rack, you already have a cargo carrier, you already have these things. All of these shapes and extrusions will work with all of that.
I
So
see.
making sure that it's common with our ecosystem, but also super friendly to what already exists in the
I
aftermarket
like this a
is
lot.
important.
You have like a ladder on top of that.
Yep.
Very good for kind of like a workman's truck,
Yeah.
you know?
The other thing I'm kind of excited about is our rear tire carrier
Yep.
and bumper.
Okay.
Because statistically, you'll get a flat tire once every 7 years.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound like that often, but when you get it,
But when it's annoying when it happens.
a bad day.
Trust me. Yeah, absolutely.
so being able to enable someone to have a full-size spare tire was really important for us, just with our customer base, and they're very functional focused and these types of sort of characteristics. We wanted to enable our tire carrier to work with our base bumper or our accessory bumper.
Oh, you have an accessory bumper too.
Yes. So you'll see some subtle differences here with the bright sort of skid plate and these different points here, and the edges come up a little taller versus the base vehicle bumper. So we wanted to make sure that this tire carrier could work with both of them. So the same arm, it's the same on both.
Making it modular so
Yeah.
you do it with both. I
So
see.
let's say you're like, I really like the base vehicle, and this works awesome, and the blank slate does everything I need it to do, but I do want a spare tire. Cool,
Gotcha.
just buy this. But maybe you're like, I want a little bit of a more rugged bumper.
Right.
Cool, then buy this bumper, and you can use the same tire carrier.
I like this because I think the Slate price point is such a good one that it would actually lend to a lot of people accessorizing things. Like me, I live paycheck to paycheck, and we know that. So what I can do is when I first get the Slate, I get that, and I say to myself, you know what? I just got paid. I'm gonna get the rear bumper. 2 weeks later, get the spare tire carrier.
Exactly.
3 weeks later, get it wrapped. A year later, I'm in debt, but my truck looks cool.
And that's really all that matters.
That's the American dream. That's the American dream.
We're just car poor.
We're just car poor, yeah,
But
exactly.
we won't be here, and that's what's cool
Right,
about
exactly.
it. Yeah, that's what's cool about it.
Exactly.
That's what's cool about
Exactly.
it. These wheel wraps
It's so
are
funny
super
how
easy.
everything he's excited about happens to be in like chronological order. Like it's all super sequential.
Almost
it's like it was like,
we printed the things that I'm excited about.
you know what I mean? It's
Almost.
almost like it seems that way. You know, go ahead.
Which is great. But I'm
Yeah.
happy to talk about any accessories
No,
on
of
the
course,
Maker.
of course.
But I really enjoy our wheel wraps because these images.
Oh, you could wrap the wheels too?
Yes. So it's very simple to have different wraps sort of on your wheels to change the look very easily.
Right.
Super affordable, small pieces of vinyl, easy to wrap. Change these out every month if you want. You get
Right.
that new paycheck.
Right.
New
I
set
got
of wheel
paid.
wraps.
Wheel wraps. Wheel
So
wraps.
all
Wheel
of
wraps.
that sort of thing, right? If you look at these images, for example, right? This is the same
By the way,
wheel.
huge fan of this, by the way.
Along that same lines are lamp plates over the turn signal covers in the front and tail lamps in the rear.
Who wouldn't want a pumpkin next to that? Who wouldn't want
Exactly.
or a casual sunset?
Exactly.
No, that's like the 80s retro wave sunset. It's kind of like that in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And also another idea that I had for you, even though I don't work here and
Yeah.
my opinions are probably invalid.
No, this is good.
But, I think what would be cool is if you could have your own, for people that, let's just say there's an accessory someone wants, and either A, it's not in production yet, B, they don't want to wait, C, they can't afford it. Giving them the opportunity to 3D print their own stuff
Yeah.
would be kind of cool too.
Exactly.
Like, look, here's a base file. If you want yours, print it out. Now I have a cup holder.
Yeah.
Now I have a dagger.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever
Sure.
you need for, off-grid
Whatever you're
living
doing.
or something.
Yeah. Our Slate access points is what we call them, kind of enable that.
Yep.
So we've developed the vehicle from its inception to have these access points.
Right.
So like, for example, we'll show you one in real life, but on the roof of the truck, like these bolts are here.
Yeah.
There's a bolt right here.
Yeah.
So your roof rack attaches there. And let's
Okay.
say you don't buy our roof rack, you buy somebody else's, or
Right.
you want to mount something else here that we haven't thought of yet. It's
Right.
already there. We already have pre-drilled holes in the rocker panels for your running boards.
Running boards on this? This thing's
Yeah.
like so low to the. Oh, if you lift it, when you lift it, you're running
When you
boards.
lift
I
it,
see.
or for roof access, or
Right.
to getting into the bed
If you want to
easier.
step over
Yeah,
and in.
exactly.
Oh,
So we
this
have
is-
a bed step that'll sit here. So let's say you have the SUV kit and you want to load something under the roof.
Right.
So think of it not maybe for vehicle access, but for roof access or like the lift kit.
I see.
So everything like that. So these Slate access points are kind of we've developed them into the vehicle for our accessories, but also for the aftermarket to use as well.
You know, the embarrassing thing is, and I'll talk about this again at some other point, but so I have a Rivian, and this Slate, the bed is the same size as the Rivian, and the Rivian was 10 times the price.
Just a little bit more, yeah.
Maybe even 20 times, maybe even 20 times the price of this thing, and
Sure.
the bed's the same size. This hurts my soul.
Yeah.
So when can I actually when can I have one?
So
Like, I want one like now.
I know, I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Well, I have this one though, so I'm sorry you can't have this
yeah,
one.
I know that's unfortunate.
We're shipping end of next year.
Okay.
So it's coming up quick.
We're
We're feeling it.
You need
Yeah.
to push that up a little bit. I'm willing to. How about this? So I know that you're shipping next year with all the SAPs, Slate
Slate access points.
access points.
Yeah.
SAPs. With the Slate access points, let's just say that I don't need wheels.
Okay.
Can I get it sooner? If I don't need a rear glass, can I get it sooner? Let's just we strip the whole truck down. Can I have it next week? By the end of next year, I should have about $3,000 saved up.
Perfect.
That won't be enough, but if I keep going on that path, in several more years, I should be able to buy one.
I love it.
And that's
I
what-
love
that's-
the dream.
that's what I'm thinking.
You're a
You get a
dreamer.
dreamer.
You're ready to
I'm a
go.
dreamer. I love
He's
it.
good.
I
He's
love
got it all figured out.
I do. I really do.
It really feels like the people who work here want to be here. Like no one's here to collect a paycheck.
Right.
We all have the same vision of delivering an affordable vehicle
Right.
to anybody.
One guy told me I'm here for a check. He told me that.
Well,
I'm just here for a check.
He's lying
man.
to you because he's not. He's passionate. I know it. I know it.
Just here for a check, man. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know why you told me that, but all right. Again, you have these other manufacturers. I'm not going to name names, but they have all these gadgets and widgets to try to, mask an otherwise very boring and very expensive driving experience. It's like, oh, hey, look, my car can massage my feet and it can drive itself.
Yeah.
And whenever I push a button, it makes a farting noise, all to take away from the fact they just paid $80,000 for it.
Yep.
Whereas something bare bones, fully customizable,
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. We dug really deep into what people are asking for in terms of transportation.
Right.
And that base value proposition is I need to get somewhere.
Right.
And they don't need all of those things.
No, they
and
don't.
most of the time, they want to customize something.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those propositions, like you're saying, have kind of boxed that out.
Right.
But this allows you to do that customizing
Right.
and still have a base vehicle that's totally functional and does everything you need it to do.
Man, why are there screws here?
These are so this panel comes off.
Okay.
So everything, like we'd said about the affordability aspect, is also for collision and service and repair. So you get into a fender bender, this is a regular truck.
Right.
If your Rivian gets into a fender bender and you damage this, what does that look like?
Let me tell you something right now. My Rivian was damaged,
Oh no.
and I let someone borrow it. Never again. Don't look at me. And, no, I know. I'm just looking at the camera. You know who you are. You're probably watching this. I let someone borrow it. Trusted you with my very expensive truck, and it came back damaged. They damaged this portion right here. In the Rivian, the entire side is one panel.
Yeah.
So when this was broken, like there was no, like I could tell already, I could just pop this off.
Yeah.
The Rivian, it's just like, no. They had to almost saw the car in half.
Yeah.
And the repair was two slates.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
scary.
could have had two
Yeah.
additional slates for the cost of repair. So I like the idea of modularity. I like the idea that makes it easy to repair as well. And I thought this was like a thing you could repair, put a gun rack here. I didn't realize it was for something, well, you could.
Yep.
I didn't realize it was something that you guys were thinking of in terms of, I don't want to say future proofing, but having the ability to service and repair it yourself. Like if you get in a fender bender in a parking lot, some old lady he came out of nowhere.
Yep.
And she tags you.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, what's up, Slate? Can I get a wheel? Can I get a fender?
Yeah.
You want to bolt
Bingo.
it, put it on?
Yeah. And they're all composite panels, so they're pretty dent resistant.
Yeah.
Like a lot more than your traditional steel or aluminum vehicles nowadays.
Yeah.
So they'll be resistant to a lot of that. But yeah, exactly. So it's not just customization, but it's also serviceability, collision work, and all that as well.
What kind of elements are you incorporating into the Slate for sustainability?
So for us, there's a bigger start in sustainability than just like bamboo shoots and green materials, but it's really also reutilization, footprint reduction. We have no paint shop, no body shop. We have reduced parts from 27 to 7 in the instrument panel.
Oh, so this is before it even came out.
Yes, this is the original prototype for the instrument panel. It was
Right.
27 final assemblies in the trim chassis final. Now we're down to 7. Right? That's integration, combination, doing more with one tool. Right? The more I do that, the smaller footprint my factory floor, the less energy I'm using, the less carbon offset.
Right.
All that's reductive. So reductive design is also, we used one tool to make an armrest for the door.
Okay.
That tool gets turned in a Z direction axis and got put on the passenger door.
Oh, so this is the same for both sides?
Same for both sides.
So one part number?
One part number.
Gotcha, okay.
One SKU.
Yep.
Then over here, that part number also gets used in the accessory console as the lid and armrest.
Oh.
So that one part does 3 jobs.
Okay.
Now we add a few pieces to it to make a hinge and a latch on it, but that core part gets utilized, including its top cover that's accessorizable to make different finishes. So every time we make a tool, it's like we say it's precious, right? We try to do as much as we can with that one tool.
Right.
So that reduces carbon, investment, footprint in the factory. It makes it simpler, a faster, more efficient process.
Even price cuts as well.
It makes the cost go down.
Right.
So we like to think every part wants to do 2 or 3 or even 5 jobs if it possibly can.
Right.
So the beauty of that armrest too, it's an armrest, but it's also the pull cup. It's got a gap to the door.
Gotcha.
So when you open and close the door, you put your hand in. You can see it on this property right here. The gap between the 2 parts creates the pull cup to pull the door closed.
Nice.
Right? And so I can remove that part and replace it with accessories. It's also a hip blocker for side impact for safety, right, for energy absorption. So we really try hard to think about not only personalization, customization, but reductive design. How few parts can I make it out of? Because that not only affects our bottom line, but it also makes the product more eco-friendly, sustainable at the same time.
Right.
It's like a 2-for-1. The other side benefit of all that is like it's easy to disassemble our car.
Right.
No one talks about, if you're talking about full life cycle sustainability, disassembly is really important. We don't glue anything.
Yes,
we
it
don't
is.
bond it. We don't have isocyanate foams.
Right.
We just have simple plastics that bolt together and clip together. And taking our vehicle apart is easy, right? That's a big deal.
Yeah, there's a tear going on my cheek right now. Add a tear going on my cheek for this right now. Because like for us, we disassemble vehicles all day, every day. And seeing some of the design choices that various companies have made, it's just insane. Like we've taken about cars that are, I think things are glued,
Yes.
riveted, and double-sided taped together.
Right.
And plastic bonded together. And like, what do we, like, did you
So-
even want to take this apart ever
Exactly,
again?
and so that's the beauty of our product and our whole company is that our job is to help people make it easy to upgrade.
Yep.
So disassembly is part of that story, which has a triple benefit, right? It also makes it an easier car disassemble when you want to take it apart and recycle it.
Right.
The materials are pretty basic and simple. That process and that time is part of the entire energy, embedded energy, right? So it's not our primary focus, but because our primary focus is accessorization and making it easy to update it for the user,
Right.
we encourage people to take the parts apart.
Oh,
Make it
yes.
easy to do. Therefore, it has all these extra benefits on top of that, right? And we're always being reductive in our design philosophy. It's always about what can we do with less? Like
Right.
How much more can we get from less tooling?
Look at this thing, Joey. You know what, Joey? I will say, this looks completely different from what it did last night. This is actually pretty impressive.
Hey, how'd you guys get in here?
All right, good. He's already mic'd up.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Hey, no problem, man. What did you guys do to this since yesterday? Because this looks like a completely different vehicle.
Yeah, so yesterday you saw this as the blank slate, right?
Yeah.
As a roll up the
That's
assembly
clever.
line.
Blank slate.
Get it?
This
Huh?
comment,
Wasn't me, but hey.
You guys.
We got a good marketing team.
Guys.
So the first thing you'll notice is the wrap, right?
Yep.
This is designed to be easily wrappable, super quick turnaround. You got the decals down below.
Yep.
We also added a 2-inch lift, bumpers, special little covers for the lights,
Yeah, look at
wheel
this.
flares,
80s retro wave. I like it. I like it. Okay.
off-road tires, new wheels,
Yeah.
running boards, roof rack,
Fender flares. Oh, I
the
didn't
fender
notice
flares, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Adds that beefy look.
that. Okay.
Come back here, we also added the rear bumper.
Running boards. I just noticed that too.
Yep,
Yeah.
running boards, crossbars, that's a part of a whole system, so it's level with the front roof rack.
Yep. The taillight covers.
Taillight covers,
Yeah.
and you're noticing, there's so much, I just keep forgetting.
There's almost too much. Yeah. Different wheels and tires. Like
Yeah.
literally.
So they give that more aggressive look. So we've also added new
I
trim,
didn't notice
right?
that.
So you got leather up here on the dash and on the doors. We can get seat covers. These don't have seat covers. This is still this blank slate seats, but you can get seat covers. You can get a whole SUV kit. Also, my favorite little thing is these slatelets.
Oh boy.
So if you want to just customize your vehicle
Mm-hmm.
the easiest way possible, it's as simple as that.
I do like this fabric right here.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
So
that
that's
is
sound
really nice.
perforated. So the speaker comes through that. So if you open that door, there's
This
a
one right
speaker
here?
behind that. Yeah.
So I pull it down.
Nope, just pull it from the bottom, like lift up. So we
Oh, the
pulled the
speaker in
bin
there.
out. Yeah, so
Yeah,
normally
yeah.
there's a storage bin in there as
Yeah,
the
yeah.
blank slate.
Okay.
But then if you want, the premium audio,
Yeah.
you can put there's also a speaker behind this one too, and this big one in the middle. So
Oh, there's a speaker here
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize these opened. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a speaker right there. Oh, and the audio comes through there.
Yeah.
So in terms of the other speaker kits, I saw there was a speaker kit potentially for the door card
Yeah,
as well.
so we have a rail here if you feel underneath there. There's
Yeah.
a T-rail.
Yep.
So the same that's right here. So you can mount, like we have a universal speaker mount. So if you have a Bluetooth like JBL,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
use that to just mount your own speaker here. We
Yeah.
also will have our own Slate branded speaker.
Okay.
And then we have the full, we're calling it like a premium audio
Yeah.
option.
Are there any other design elements for potentially the headliner and stuff like that too?
Nothing on this, but we're
Like
we're always
I
considering
want a
stuff.
Starlight headliner. You know,
Hey,
like
you never know.
You know, like the Mailbox have and stuff like that, and Rolls Royces. That's what I really want. If I could incorporate that into a $20,000 truck, I would like that a lot. My friends think I'm rich.
Wait,
Yeah.
aren't you rich?
I am. Aphrodite,
Hi.
beautiful name by the way.
Thank you, Rich.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
what are the top 5 questions that you get about the Slate? 'Cause I know I really can't say what you do because it's kind of secretive
kinda
and
top
stuff.
secret.
It's kind of top secret, but I know you interact with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the most frequent question is, does it come in all-wheel drive?
really?
Yeah, because as you know, the Slate is a rear-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah, okay.
So that's one.
Okay.
I get that on a regular basis, several times a day.
Okay.
Another question is, can I get the SUV kit? Which you can. The SUV kit adds an extra row of
For seats.
right?
Okay.
So it adds that bench in the second row.
Yeah.
Now, there are people that don't need the second row.
Okay.
Right? So they say, well, can I just order it without the seats? And
Yeah.
the answer to that is yes.
Okay.
So there's a cargo kit that you can get instead
there-
of going with the SUV kit, and that's basically or essentially the SUV kit without seats. Another question would be, how easy is it to wrap my vehicle?
Oh, really?
Very
Okay.
easy, right?
Yeah.
If
I
you,
mean, all the panels are pretty much flat.
they're flat,
Yeah.
And they've got these great coach lines running
Yeah,
down the
yeah.
side of the vehicle, so it's just super easy. It's designed to be wrapped. If you come up here, you notice that it only has 2 doors.
Okay. Yep.
So a common question is, can I get 4 doors?
Really?
The answer is no.
Okay. No
The
4
blank
doors.
slate comes as a 2-door
Yeah.
vehicle.
But maybe later. I don't want to put words in your
I'm
mouth.
an agent. I can't tell you.
Okay, you can't tell me. But we're going to assume that a 4-door version is coming. I am here today with the head of engineering over at Slate. Bert, we can't. See,
We can,
We can.
actually.
And listen, and this is a testament as to how big the bed on this truck is. Like, this is actually, I know it's bigger than the Rivian bed, and it makes me extremely jealous considering this thing is several $1,000s less than the Rivian.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to talk about today is the rear structure that you guys are going to have integrated in this to form, I think it's I call it the fastback versus the SUV version.
So I'm Eric Kuiper, I'm the head of engineering here at Slate. And what you see in front of you here is the blank slate. So every vehicle is going to ship from the factory as the 2-door truck. But what we're interested in then is moving it to the SUV. And so we will have multiple configurations. And we'll talk a little bit about the airproofing on the safety aspects of it to make sure that as you get occupants and seats in place, that it's safe and reliable for customers. But so we'll have the open air configuration that I think you guys have seen on our website.
Right.
We'll have the fastback configuration, and then we'll have the squareback SUV configuration as well. The thing that we've focused a lot on, and we started really from day one, is the airproofing to make sure that as you move from the truck to the SUV, that it's easy and seamless for the customers to bring the roll cage in, bring the seats in, and the occupants that are here can't be there without the seat, without the structure, and without the airbags and the restraints. And so that's the airproofing that we've spent a lot of time making sure that we got right. And it really starts with the back of the truck coming off. So this back unclips, so to speak, and it will actually become the back of the SUV. So we talked a lot about reusing parts and making sure that we're not filling landfills with parts from the truck in order to move it to the next configuration. So that was a big deal for us. The partition also comes off, and then the roll cage that'll come in actually has access points on the top of the catwalk and the back here, as well as on the bed floor. And then we've got a cross member that the seats will mount into. That upper structure that's here already has the airbags in it, and as the customers bring them and connect them, torque them down, connect the airbags, they don't have to do any installation of airbags. All they have to do is connect them. The truck knows that it went from a truck to an SUV, and boom, you'll be in that next configuration. It'll obviously start as the open air, and then you can add the panels to move it to either fastback or the squareback.
That's
So,
impressive. So
yeah.
do you guys focus, when you guys are doing like your crash testing, for example, are you guys doing both configurations, the SUV and the fastback version? Or is it safe to assume that one would precede the other in terms of safety because it's just adding it on?
Yeah, so although the vehicle will be shipped from the assembly plant as a single configuration 2-door truck,
Yep.
we are doing all of the crash tests for both batteries, SUV, and truck.
Gotcha.
So we are making sure that our customers are safe in every configuration that they could be in.
All right, so right now we're in the back of the SUV configuration, and I will say my initial thoughts are there's actually a lot of room back here.
Yeah, we designed the back as purposely as we designed the front.
Right.
So having enough legroom for grown adults was a big deal.
Yeah, no, this is cool because you're a grown man. I'm a little bit more full-figured, I guess you could say, of my seat. I have a wider seat, as they say, to put it nicely. But no, this is fantastic back here. So all of this, what you're saying is, this can be added on by the end user.
And so everything that we just talked about in the back of the truck, we are now essentially in the truck bed. Right. So the partition has been removed.
Right.
The back glass has been removed. It's actually part of the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And the roll cage is now in. You've got the airbags that are in here.
This
Everything's
is so well
plugged
integrated,
in.
You can't even really, it looks like it came like this.
Yeah, our engineering team has done a phenomenal job.
So wait a minute.
The design team touched every millimeter of this.
Is this glass removable?
Uh-huh.
This glass comes out?
Yeah.
Does this actually pop off too?
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah, you can go full open air mode.
Joe, we just talked about this, remember?
We
did. We're like, oh, how are they going to compete with Jeeps? Because Jeep owners are a different breed.
Yeah.
Now that we're in private, I don't really like Jeep owners very much for the most part.
Yeah.
But I think this is the infinite areas of customization that you guys have is just, it's incredible. And so much thought was put into this. It seems like a really, really, really good team you guys have on your shoulders.
It is. The design team, the engineering team, the even commercial team, all the accessories.
Right.
Everybody that's been a part of all of this development, literally, I'm not exaggerating, they've literally gone millimeter by millimeter to make sure that you get the integrated experience like this, but also the number of configurations that we have between the truck, the SUV, the open air, all of these different modes that you can put the vehicle in and configure it is, again, we're super excited to see what customers do.
Right.
And then the infinite portfolio of accessories that allow bigger wheels and tires and fender flares and all of the things that they can do on the interior, all the different wrap configurations.
No,
it really gets out of control.
Dude,
right?
I mean, the materials are great. I mean, there's little cup holders back here now too.
Yeah, yep.
This is amazing. So I guess let's ask some technical detailed questions, right?
Yeah.
What kind of battery chemistry are these trucks using?
So this is an NMC pouch that we have from SK Own.
Okay.
They're our module supplier. And then in partnership with a battery pack supplier, we are building the battery pack with the SK Own modules.
Okay.
And so that's the battery pin. We have two of them. So we have a standard range battery pack that'll get you 150 miles of range when we go for testing, and then the larger battery pack will get you about 240 miles.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And how about, can you tell me any details about the motor that you guys use?
So the motor's about 150 kilowatt motor,
Okay.
which is about 200 horsepower. It really gets you that 0 to 60 time in 8 seconds.
Right.
We've always said,
it's no plaid.
We're going to wrap it in plaid. We
Yeah.
don't necessarily need to race one.
Gotcha.
Right.
Well, that's also the
So-
price point as well.
Exactly.
If you want, it's give and take. You want more range, you got to pay a little bit more. You want it to be faster. Where do you want this price point to be?
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. So these are the choices that we made throughout the development to make sure that we have a reliable, durable, safe offering, but also being cost conscious.
Gotcha. Understood. Another question people are going to ask: DC fast charging.
Yep.
Is it going to have that?
Of course. So DC fast charging is one of the things that was critical from the very beginning.
Right.
So we will have the North American charging standard
course.
connection. It's, of course, again, will be on the driver's side in the rear.
Yep.
To make sure that we're standard with some of those stations that might already be out there.
Understood.
So we peak at about 120 kilowatts
Okay.
On charging, and you should be able to get a full battery pack in about 30 minutes.
Body on frame.
So the body on frame versus unibody versus, so it's always a great question. We started with, it's a truck, it's meant to be a truck, so we have a proper frame that runs the length of the vehicle.
Okay.
But then we integrated the battery and we integrated the body sides.
Okay.
So although it's based on a truck frame and really a unibody or a frame construction, we do end up kind of close to a unibody.
Okay.
But there's really nothing like the Slate board, right?
Okay.
So we've kind of dubbed it as the Slate board. only because there's nothing out there that has the ability to do, the multiple battery packs, the multiple configurations of truck, SUV, as well as potentially future options off of this platform.
Speaking of that,
So-
so friend to friend, now
Yeah.
that we're good friends, right?
Right.
Just between you and I, no one else. Cut the cameras off, Joey.
Right.
And rear wheel drive right now.
It is rear-wheel drive. Yep.
You know what I'm getting with this.
I do.
Maybe someday. What are you guys thinking?
We are 100% focused on making sure that we get this to market.
Understood.
And of course, over time, we're looking at what the additional portfolio could look like. So we will have a Slate portfolio of vehicles with additional features that may or may not fit right underneath the frunk.
I understand completely. But we even have products now from existing manufacturers that make it very difficult to repair their products.
Yep.
What are you guys doing or assisting or helping with right to repair, or people having the ability to fix things and repair things that they own?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's one that we really started studying very early on in the development. Making sure that people can work on their vehicles and own their vehicles and is something that's been critical for
Right.
us. So we will publish things like Slate University.
Okay.
We'll have videos on the ability to put accessories on, as well as how to work on the vehicles in various areas. We will produce what we refer to as a bodybuilder's book, but basically the Slate access points. So you'll understand how you can get to various access points, how much load you can put on those, and make sure that you really understand how to use the vehicle.
Okay.
So it's basically an open. Think of it as an open source piece of hardware.
Right.
So to the point that we will release CAD.
Okay, good.
And so you'll have the ability to understand and do like 3D printing of some widget that you want to be
I
able
love it.
to bring
That's
to
great.
those access points.
Right.
So, and this is stuff that we really brought those ideas in early on. So, when we were doing whiteboard work back in, July, August, September of 2022, when this thing was nothing but an idea, these were the types of things that we were considering.
Right.
So-
and I think it's cool too, because even walking around the truck and seeing that you could just unbolt fenders, rear quarter panels, and that gives people the idea that, hey, look, the fasteners are exposed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you need to replace this, you can unscrew it, put a new one on, and go about your way.
Yeah, it really is an indication of the ability to service and the ability to do that DIY work for customers.
Right.
And then a lot of people are concerned about the theft of body panels and others. So we've made
Right.
sure that there are fasteners that are a little bit more difficult to get to.
Gotcha.
That only the customer will be able to get to.
Right.
That will allow for that.
So I can't go on like a stealing spree where I
Right.
just find every Slate and unbolt all the panels.
Exactly.
This massive crime ring.
Right.
I was thinking about that. Joey, take that off the idea board for this year. So now that we're even closer friends now, I want to talk about the frunk. Or
Yeah.
should I say, I want you to talk about the frunk.
The frunk is it's one of the jewels of the vehicle. We really did a great job. Really, the engineering team and the packaging team did a great job of hogging out this space, because it's hard to save space for something that you want nothing to be there.
Right.
Right. And the team did a great job of making sure that all the modules were out of the way, all the wiring, all the structure is out of the way, but also we took the radiator that normally would take up this space, we
Yeah.
dropped it down and we tipped it back.
Oh, almost like a Corvette. The Corvettes have like angular, yeah.
You
absolutely.
got it. There's some other maybe Ford products that do some of this type of stuff. So in order to make sure that we got this nice and low for that liftover. So that liftover, just like we saw on the truck bed,
Yeah.
same idea here. We wanted to make sure that it was easy for customers to be able to get
This
things
is a
in and
really
out.
big frunk.
8 cubic
big is
feet
this?
of space in
Right.
here. So you'll be able to put full-size suitcases in here with another
Some
small
carry-ons on
suitcase.
top.
You'll be able to do shelving. It's fully capable of everything you want. We've got hooks on the side here to be able to hook the groceries, and of course, it's got a drain plug.
Yes. Okay. So you can have a cooler in here.
Of course.
For sodas.
Yeah,
Which is good.
sodas.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course. In terms of the price point, I think one of your potential competitors could be the Ford Maverick, right?
Potentially.
Potentially. I'm just
Yeah.
saying potentially. People say, okay, there's this Ford Maverick that it talks like 23 something and change. I have yet to see it. But I think that's going to be a point of contention with people debating buying this versus that. What are some of the reasons you think that people should, get this over a Maverick, or why would a person get this over a Maverick?
It's a great question, and it's one that we think we've got a great answer to.
Okay.
So the product that we've developed, it really has a completely different business model to it, quite honestly, in that you can buy the blank slate, and you can buy it at the price point that we'll be at if that's what you can afford.
Right.
And then the personalization, the customization that you get over time to be able to add all of the accessories that you want a la carte as your budget allows, I think is something that's going to be super interesting to customers. So they'll be able to get the truck that they love right from the start at a price point that they can afford. It doesn't have all the options on it, but then over time they'll be able to add bigger wheels and tires, fender flares, the audio components that they want. We know people are going to bring insane audio systems to this. Our accessories team is dialing up some pretty amazing things. So that's I think one of the things that's very interesting about this is you can grow the vehicle over time, and you don't have to get an option. It's got a bunch of different content at the beginning that makes it that $45,000 or $50,000 truck that you can't afford now.
Right.
You can buy the blank slate and build it.
And add on after fact. For example, a lot of cars come with the, I think it's the Sun and Shine package. If you want a sunroof, guess what? You have to purchase a $4,000 package if you want to get that. Or if you want leather interior, you need the tech package, and you add these things on, etc. So I think that's an amazing idea, great design. I think this is really cool.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job.
Awesome. Cheers. Thank you.
Awesome.
I love it. Thank you for having me.
No, of course.
This was great.
Of course. Thanks, man.
All right.
Now, clearly, I really like the Slate, if you couldn't tell by the excitement in my voice. But here's a couple things I think they could run into, but I hope they don't. Now, the price of accessories is a big one for me. No one has listed the price of these accessories as yet, but I can tell you right now, if this fastback costs between $6,000, $7,000, and $8,000, it's an immediate problem, because you could make this thing go from $20K to $30K very quickly, and you're paying $30,000 for a vehicle that has 170 miles of range. And I'll tell you right now, by this time next year, my Rivian might be worth $30,000, so that could be a big problem as well. Next, the scope. A year and a half is a long time from now. Remember, Rivian was off by pricing by 20%. I hope that Slate can stay true to their original pricing. And as a fellow American, the reason why a lot of car dealers work is because a lot of the times we cannot decide for ourselves what we want. We need to be told what to do. Maybe this is too niche. Maybe people just want it from the factory like this. Because I'll tell you right now, I built my very own Slate, which I think looks sick, by the way. And I kind of just want it from the factory like this. I don't want to have to deal with a wrapper, a wheel and tie guy, a lift kit person, and 3 other people that I have to pay to achieve this same look, knowing the fact that it's going to come off the assembly line a very blank slate. I want it now as it sits in this picture right here. So we will see what happens. I wish Slate nothing but the best. And it makes me think for a second. Why didn't other manufacturers think of this? Why didn't other companies think to themselves, maybe we don't have to gouge the American public to make a profit. Maybe we don't need $100,000 EVs. Something to think about. See you guys next week.